Title: The Last Stand on Eurydice. The rumble of the mining drills was the only sound Ezra Burke ever needed to feel at home. Out here, on the cold rock of Eurydice, a meteor drifting between Saturn and Uranus, the void was absolute. But inside his mining outpost, the steady rhythm of machines chewing through ancient stone kept his mind clear and his purpose sharp. Ezra, now 42, had spent half his life in space. His dark skin had grown weathered, not from the sun, but from the years of harsh vacuum, recycled air, and the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He wasn't just a miner anymore. He was the sole overseer of this rugged outpost. The mining company left him here to extract precious minerals, but it felt like they'd abandoned him. Forgotten. For most, this would have been a prison. For Ezra, it was peace. He was alone, but never lonely. In his heart, he carried the memory of his ancestors. The Burkes were fighters, always had been. His grandparents, Sam and Naomi Burke, had fought in ways that could never be forgotten. They were children of slaves, raised with the scars of history seared into their bones, but they never accepted their fate. As sharecroppers in the South, they had led others to freedom during the Great Migrations and stood against those who would try to hold them down. Ezra grew up on those stories. Sam Burke had once faced down a white mob threatening to burn their land, a shotgun in his hands and no fear in his eyes. Naomi, fierce and unyielding, had organized boycotts and marches, demanding their right to vote, demanding their right to be treated as equals. They had fought for their dignity, fought for their land, and passed that fire down to Ezra. Ezra had inherited their strength, their refusal to be caged. Out here in the depths of space, that legacy kept him grounded. He wasn't just mining for profit. He was building something with his own hands, something no one could take from him. Or so he thought. The console on the wall blinked, the harsh red light pulsing like a heartbeat. Incoming signal. Ezra frowned and wiped the dust from his hands before approaching the screen. It was strange. He hadn't received a transmission in weeks. With a flick of his wrist, he activated the comm. "Burke, this is Central Command. We've got a situation." The voice belonged to Captain Egan, a corporate military liaison who only called when things were bad. Really bad. "What kind of situation?" Ezra asked, his deep voice steady, masking the flicker of unease in his chest. "We lost contact with 3 other colonies in your sector," Egan's voice crackled. "Scouts report unknown vessels, potential hostiles. Might be pirates, but we've got whispers of something else." Ezra leaned in, his brow furrowing. "Something else?" "Aliens, Burke. We don't know what they are yet, but they're hostile. They're taking over our minds and slaughtering our people. Your outpost is the next target." Ezra's grip tightened on the console. "I've got no defense here, Egan. No weapons, no backup. It's just me and my drills. You're on your own for now. Reinforcements are days away. Fortify what you can. Survive. We need that mine operational." The transmission cut off, leaving Ezra staring at the vast blackness of space through the observation window. For the first time in years, he felt the weight of fear press on his chest. He wasn't a soldier, he was a miner. But if these aliens were real, if they were coming for his mine, they were coming to take everything he had built. And Burkemen didn't run. Not when the enemy came to claim what was theirs. Ezra closed his eyes and thought of his grandfather, standing on that dusty porch with nothing but a shotgun and a will of iron. Sam Burke didn't flinch when the mob came, and neither would Ezra. He wouldn't let anyone, alien or human, take what he had carved out of this frozen rock. Not after all the blood his family had shed for their freedom. He set to work, his hands moving quickly across the console. He sealed the outpost doors and redirected power to the shields. Old and barely functional, but they'd have to do. The mining lasers, massive tools built to cut through asteroid rock, would become his makeshift weapons. If it came down to it, he'd use every tool at his disposal to defend his home. Hours passed, and soon, the sensors picked up movement. The alien ship hovered in the distance, sleek and dark, moving with a predatory grace. Ezra's stomach tightened. He grabbed his helmet and suit, preparing for the inevitable showdown. The alarms blared as the ship approached. They were coming. The first explosion rocked the outpost, shattering the silence of space. Ezra's heart pounded as he ran through the corridors, rerouting power and bracing for breach. The mining drills, hulking ancient machines, were now his front line. He positioned them strategically, their spinning blades ready to tear through anything that tried to get through.